Now I want to present the basic concepts of the cloud computing. Yes, all the final year students having the subject and with the help of, with the aid of these subject contents, you can go ahead with the building of software systems. That is one of the main objectives of this course. To learn about the cloud environment and building software systems and about components that scale to millions of users in modern internet, cloud capabilities across the various service models, developing cloud-based software applications on top of the cloud platform. Yes, these are the cloud course objectives, cloud computing course objectives. Yeah, the next one is syllabus. Before going to learn about, you should be very particular to with your syllabus contents and your first unit and JTUK, the first unit syllabus contents or scalable computing over the internet, technologies for network based systems, system models for distributed and cloud computing, software environments for distributed systems and clouds, and the last one is performance and energy efficiency. Right, these are the this is your system modeling, clustering and virtualization concept. That is your first chapter. Cloud computing. What do you mean by the cloud computing? So many of you can come to one conclusion that if you have asked so many number of students, then from all the students you can get only one answer. Cloud is for storage. Yes, that is storage. That is one of the, so yes, the services only. That is not only the service. Many services it provides. Many computing services it provides. What do you mean by such computing services? Yes, server. It provides server services, storage services, database services, networking services, software services and platform services, and some of the analytics softwares and some of the intelligence software services it provides, and all such services related to the platform and infrastructure and software, all services it provides. This is nothing but the cloud definition is the cloud computing. With the help of this cloud computing is the delivery of computing services such as servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, intelligence and more over the cloud. That is nothing but the cloud computing. The definition is. We are working with a mission, large mission. It occupies floors and all. It occupies so much of a space it occupies. So just we have gone through the just with the working of the mission's mainframes, that is in earlier days, and that is what the scalable computing. And in those days, scalable computing and this scalable computing is not at all. The evolutionary changes in the first one, missionary architecture, and according to the missionary architecture, wide the evolution has been grown. So that is nothing but suppose yes, mission this is not flexible. We need to change the pattern. We need to change this much of large mission into the small, compatible and flexible mission. That is how the individual pieces have just evolved. So that aspect is mission architecture aspect. In the aspect of mission architecture, the first evolutionary change has been occurred in the aspect of mission architecture. And the second evolutionary changes is operating system platform. Yes, we are working with the operating system platform. Yes, this is good up now. But coming for the next decades, next 2 decades, this working of this working principles of this operating system is not good. We need to, yes, we need to go for the evolutionary changes in the operating system platform level. That is nothing but the next. So like this, and later on the network connectivity. Among all the network connectivities, is it flexible or not? Is it scalable or not? So some sort of evolutionary changes have been occurred from one decade to decade. So right now we are using that application word, and just these have changed the uses of the centralized computers to solve computational platforms. The age of internet computing. Here we can observe the two types of computing systems. One is HPC systems and another one is HTC systems. What do you mean by HPC systems? High performance computing systems. High throughput computing systems. The first one is high performance computing system. Here what you will expect means the performance aspect. You will design the system and you will expect in the performance aspect. That is nothing but the high performance computing system. So the main objective is mainly to achieve the efficiency, reliability and the fast accessing, the fast responding. That is nothing but in the performance wide. Is it performance wide good or not? That is nothing but the high performance computing systems have been designed based on that goal. Okay, and the next one is high throughput computing. High throughput computing. So here with the aid of this HTC use of many computing resources for long periods of time to accomplish a computational task. How many number of, so for longer duration, is it capable enough to serve thousands of people or not? Is it capable enough to handle the few many resources or not at a time? So that is what nothing but the based on throughput aspect the computing systems have been designed. So one sort is HPC and another one is HTC systems. The age of internet computing systems. HPC, high performance computing, which is tightly clustered and here the latency sensitive. This is latency sensitive. High throughput computing. High throughput computing is nothing but grid computing. You can observe the figure, the grid computing, and which is less inter-node communication, and here it is more horizontal scalability, and here horizontal scalability is pleasingly the parallel crossing, and number of throughput, number of systems is more or not. That is what here it checks. The main objective is based on the throughput, and the main objective is based on the performance. That is the system is HPC systems. Okay. See the figure now. You can observe the evolution changes, and later on see in earlier days we can go with the mainframes. Just we have worked with the mainframes, but the uses of the computer uses people are also very less in number. You can fingertips you can have that count. Yes, whereas nothing but that is mainframes in the year 1960s onwards mainframes, and later on in 1970 you can observe the change from one decade to another decade. In 1970s mini computers have been very flexible to handle and very flexible to work with that. That is mini computers. And later on, very latest, and the later on is that is nothing but the PC. Okay, in 1980s. Just now, in the 1980s, even the individual persons also can maintain a personal computer at their homes for the maintenance of their office or their business, personal business and all everything. Just they can go ahead with the PC. Okay, that is in 1980s, and later on in 1990 the mobile computers have been evolved. In 2000, yes, the sensors, we are working with the robots in 2000 onwards. Right now we are using robots for many purposes, and even if you observe in just in the north side also, you can observe many robots are working just in the place of human beings. In the place of human beings, robots are working. Right. So here the sensors, with the help of the sensors, the robot can capture the signals and can work accordingly. The whatever the chip that is included in that, it is working. So the computer evolution from one decade to another decade, you can observe, you can see the lots of difference from one decade to the another decade. So this is nothing but the computer evolutionary changes. These are computer evolutionary changes, and later on the small cluster syndrome. Yes, you can go ahead with the 3 new computing paradigms. The new computing paradigms are nothing but the centralized, parallel and distributed. The centralized version is nothing but all the terminals should be supervised and monitored by one and only one mainframe computer. That is nothing but the centralized computer. There the accessing is centralized, the control is centralized, and each and every task and all everything is centralized. That is nothing but the centralized computing paradigm. Yes, what about the parallel and the distributed means? Parallel, suppose parallel computing means that is, suppose if you are having the more jobs to perform, so to accomplish this job to be completed within less time, so you can go ahead with one smaller task, that is nothing but just split all the tasks, the individual tasks, and can run in parallel, so that you can compute the you can accomplish the entire big task with less time. That is parallel computing. That may be either related to only one job or different jobs. Different jobs can be split. Okay, that is parallel computing. What about distributed computing? In the parallel computing, just there the processors or many processors you will use, but all the processors will share one memory space. Whereas in distributed computing, the workers are different. Few many workers will work for one job, one big job, so that you can complete the task within less time, and then the scheduler needs to be performed. The scheduler and the synchronization needs to be performed because you have distributed the work. So worker means that is related to either, that must be an encapsulation of the processor and memory. Processor and also memory means that is just like some workstation like. So like this, many workstations can be connected through the net, and these workstations can share the work and can perform. The work is going to be distributed. Okay, distributed, and at one workstation the job can be completed by this day, and on the other workstation the job it completes the job according to the number of jobs that it is being in a queue, in its queue. Just based on that it accomplishes the task. But this is not parallel. See that this is distributed. This is not parallel. Okay, right? Parallel is different. Parallel computing paradigm is different. But means what? All the tasks should be performed at the same time in parallel. Okay, but distributed means you can distribute, you can make it as parts and you can distribute to somewhere else, and these workplaces can accomplish the task, but there is no restriction to complete the task at one time only. The deadline, yes, okay, you can plan for it. Okay, right? So this is nothing but the distributed computing. Centralized is, that is monarch, that is each and every control is centralized, and each and every task, performance, accessing, everything is centralized. That is centralized computing. All these three are nothing but the three different new paradigms, and these you should have a knowledge of awareness of these three paradigms, because this cloud is to some extent it is centralized, and to some extent it is both parallel and distributed. Yeah. The next one is distributed system families. In the future, both HPC and HDC systems will demand multi-core or many-core processors that can handle large number of computing threads per core. The system efficiency is decided by the three factors. One is speed, the second one is programming, and the third one is energy factors. Here the main goal of these systems are nothing but the first one is efficiency, and the second one is dependability, third one is adaptation to the new, and the last one is flexibility. These are the goals that which requires for all these designing objectives. Yes, right now you can observe the important questions. What is the definition of the cloud computing, and what are the different aspects related to the scalable computing, and the explanation. Yes, you had to explain with the different examples of the concept of the distributed system families. What are the differences between centralized, parallel, and distributed systems? Yes, right. These students, just go to these questions are very important and can get in these questions in your end exams. Prepare well, do good, do well. Thank you.